Hey guys, it's Misty. We're just going to jump right in. I hope you guys have been practicing your chains. I've already got my chain ready here for our single crochets, and I did a chain of 10. So we're just going to go right in and start with our single crochets. I've got my yarn wrapped here around my finger. I've got my hook held in my using my knife method here. Let's start by talking about how we go into a stitch once we've made our chain. So we have 10 stitches here, 10 little V's. We do not count this loop that's on our hook. It's not a made stitch yet. It's just waiting to be one, okay? Also, when we do a single crochet, we're not going to count this first stitch from our hook. Now, the reason why is because that is going to serve as our turning chain for making our first stitch. So it's going to kind of link our hook to our first stitch and give us the room to rise up a little taller. You will understand that a little bit more as we go, especially once we get to like row 2 and stuff, okay? So for right now, we are going to skip this stitch. We're not going to be going into that one, okay? And we are going to go straight into this second stitch right here, our second stitch from the hook right here. And we're going to take the head of our crochet hook and we are going to go right in to that second stitch just like that. Okay? Now here we are, and just like when we're making chains, we are going to go from over here to over here. We're going to yarn over our hook, okay? And we're going to grab this yarn, and just like when we're making chains, we're going to come down right through that chain, okay? Now, I'm going to grab a hold of this at the bottom of my stitch right there. I'm going to once again yarn over. Okay, we are literally right now in the middle of making our single crochet. All right, so we've drawn up our loop. We're going to yarn over again. We are going to come back down, but instead of going through just this one loop, we're going to go through both of these loops, okay? So draw through 2 loops, and you've just made a single crochet. Okay, now let's do it again. This loop right here that's all stretched out, that's the loop that we've just been in. So we're going to go into the next one, which is right here. And we're going to put our hook down through that chain. We are going to yarn over and pull through that chain right like that and draw up that loop. So now we have 2 loops on our hook. Okay? Now we are going to yarn over again and pull through both of those loops. And now we just have one on our hook again. Okay, let's do it again. Into the chain, yarn over, pull through and draw up the loop. Yarn over again and pull through both of those loops. Okay, now I want to come up here a little bit closer just so you can see. Here's the stitch we've been working in right here. Here is the next stitch. You see that? Here's our chains. Here is the very next stitch beside this one that we've been working in. That is where we're going to go right in with our hook. Let me get you more in frame there. We're going to go in with our hook, yarn over, and we're going to pull through that chain, drawing up our loop right there. We're going to yarn over again, and we're going to pull through both loops. That is a single crochet. Let's do it again. Here's our new loop that we're going through. We're going to push right through there, yarn over, pull through and draw up that loop. And now we have 2 loops on our chain. 2 loops on our hook, I'm sorry. Yarn over, pull through both of those loops. Okay? Once again, pull up your loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Into your chain, yarn over, draw up a loop, and pull through 2. Here's our next stitch. Into the chain, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, and draw through 2. Now, here is our very last stitch, okay? Right here is the knot from our slip knot, okay? And right here, that chain coming out of there, that's where we're putting our hook here at the end. Right there. Okay? So go right down into that chain, yarn over, draw up your loop, yarn over, and pull through both of those loops. Now, you have done 9 single crochets. We had 10 stitches. We skipped that first one, remember? And that'll give us 9 on our hook. So, to keep going with these single crochets, to bring it up and make it longer, there's only one thing that we really need to do. We can't just turn around and start crocheting again. We need to raise our yarn up to meet the new height we're going to be. If we just turn our work and start to crochet, our work is going to start curving around right here. It's going to like suck in as we go, and it's going to make this curve inward and not be a straight edge, and it just won't look as good. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to chain 1. Since we're doing single crochets, we're chaining 1. This is called our turning chain. Okay, so we're going to chain 1, and that's going to bring up our new height from here to here and give us space to make our new row. So now that we've chained 1, we are going to turn our work, and our first stitch is right here, right where we've turned, okay, because this turning chain, that doesn't count as a stitch. We have to put a stitch in our first stitch here. Also, if you notice, this is a little different than it was when we just had chains. When you were just crocheting into chains, you just had the one little lump here we were getting behind. Well, now we've performed an entire stitch. So our stitch, one stitch, is this V right here. If you put your finger under there, inside of that stitch, see right here is the inside of that stitch to the side. And if you turn it up, you can see this V that has formed with 2 threads right there. Okay? And our stitch is going to go under our hook here to make the stitch. It's going to go under both of those. So you should be under, for your first stitch, you should be under this V. Okay? All you do is just like always now, we're going to draw up a loop. We're going to yarn over, and we're going to come back under that V and draw up our loop the same as it was with our chain. Yarn over and pull through both loops on your hook. Now, this next one, same thing. Here is the side of our stitch. So right in this hole right here, that's where our hook is going to go. And right here on the top, this is our V here. This is where we're going to go under. So take your hook, put it right through so that it's up under this V. Okay? Yarn over, go back under the V and draw up a loop, yarn over, pull through both loops on your hook. And now we're going to do it again. Here's our V, here's our stitch. We're going to go under that stitch. See there? We're going to yarn over, we're going to go back under, draw up a loop, yarn over, draw through 2 loops, and we'll do it again. Our next stitch, we're going to go right under that V, yarn over, draw up a loop, go right back under, yarn over, pull through both loops. Again, here's the side of our stitch. Okay, you can see that opening really well with this larger yarn and hook. Here's the side of our stitch. Let's get this working yarn out of the way. Here is the top of our stitch, this V right there. So our hook is going to go right in the side opening of the stitch. There's our V, yarn over, draw our loop up through the stitch, yarn over, pull through 2. Into the next one. Right under the V, yarn over, draw up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. There we are again. Into the side of the stitch, yarn over, draw up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Here is our next to the last one, right into the stitch, under that V, yarn over and draw up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Now, our last stitch is a little bit harder to find. So just looking at it, it looks a little bit like a lumpy mess, okay? But if you turn it towards you, right like that, if you turn it towards you, you can see your V. Do you see that? Right there is your V. I've got my nail right between both sides of that V, okay? So just take your hook, put it right there, and get up under both sides of that V, and you'll be fine. Yarn over, pull through, and pull it up a little bit. You've got 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through both loops, and then you will be ready to start your 3rd row. And to do so, you're just going to make 1 chain to raise your height. You'll turn your work, and you'll start all over again with your single crochets. And you can do that on and on and on. You can make this as wide as you want by chaining more. You could chain 20 or 30, however long you want it to be, and then you could make this as tall as you wanted it to be. You could make a whole scarf of single crochets, or anything else that you wanted to do. So this is really just your first basic stitch. You can, I've been crocheting for years. I still make a lot of projects with single crochet. You guys go out and do something you love today. Don't forget to take a little time for yourself, okay? All right, until next time, bye-bye.